Welcome to Messines Farm, or as we affectionately call it, the Messy Farm. I'm Kieran Rickard, the owner and operator of this regenerative agriculture farm in Queensland's Granite Belt on Camberwell country.
And I'm Amy McDonald, your co-host on this exciting adventure. This series will take you on a journey into regenerative agriculture, highlighting how it distinguishes itself from conventional farming practices and how it serves as a solution for critical global challenges.
Regenerative agriculture is a holistic approach to farming that aims to restore and enhance health and the land.
So, join us for a fun and enlightening journey into a way of farming that's truly groundbreaking.
Unlike conventional agriculture, which relies on synthetic inputs and practices that degrade the soil, regenerative agriculture focuses on building soil health, fostering biodiversity, and promoting ecosystem resilience. Not just about sustaining the land, but actively improving it over time. Over 55% of land in Australia is used for agriculture. The more of this land that can be transformed from conventional farming to regenerative agriculture, the more benefits we will see in terms of erosion control, drought resilience, food security, improved biodiversity, and overall human health. At the Messy Farm, we are committed to practicing and promoting regenerative agriculture. Through ongoing experimentation, learning, and community engagement, we aim to demonstrate the viability of this approach. Our farm is not just a place for cultivation. We are a living laboratory where we collaborate with nature to foster a resilient and sustainable food system. Join us as we take a deep dive into the core principles of regenerative agriculture, from how the soil is treated, how it works in concert with biodiversity, and how the produce is more sustainable and tastes better than non-regenerative practices. For our first instalment, we are going back to the roots. To improve the land, we need to understand the country we're on and how it changes over time. There is no one fit guide for regenerative agriculture across Australia, or even within the Granite Belt. However, there are some well-researched standard practices that are universal across regenerative agriculture in Australia. The first of these practices relates to where it all begins, the soil.
Soil is the foundation of life on Earth, supporting plant growth, regulating water, and sustaining biodiversity. Healthy soil is crucial for producing nutritious food, maintaining clean water, and combating climate change.
Possum Lane Farm's around 200 acres. The majority of it's biodiversity. It's a forest that's left untouched. We've got about 60% of the area in a nature refuge. We farm an area around about 6 acres. So the vast majority of this property is just left in its natural state, and we focus our attention on those 6 acres. But what we wanted to do here was to see whether we could, using different techniques and different crops and stuff, make a living out of a very, very small area and have the majority of the area left in its natural state. So a whole different approach to agriculture and horticulture. So there's a big focus on soil health. That's everything, really. We really farm the soil in our climate. If we don't have healthy soil that holds the water, we can't deal with climate change and the like. Obviously, if we don't have nutritious, beautiful, rich soil, we can't grow the quality, clean produce we want to supply to the market. So soil at that level is everything, and that's what we really, really concentrate on. The whole system that we run here is based on worms and cow manure and mulch. They're the only 3 ingredients. We don't put any micronutrients in. So really it's about building up the soil, its nutrition, its biology and its water holding capacity. And the veggies across the board respond well to that.
The important thing to remember with regenerative agriculture and any type of farming when you're improving the quality of the carbon in the soil is that most of the plant is growing above ground. You've got some roots down the bottom, but as this plant dies back, it turns brown And a lot of this carbon senesces out into the atmosphere, and you lose that. What we're trying to do in regenerative agriculture is get that carbon back into the soil to improve soil quality and the health of the biodiversity in the soil. So the way we stop this green part of the plant from going straight up into the atmosphere as carbon is we get our animals to eat it, and it goes straight onto the ground as poo. What most people see when they look at animal poo is fertiliser, but it's so much more than that. This is the carbon from those green plants that the animals ate before, and they put it directly onto the ground for the soil microbes to turn into soil.
Let's dish the dirt on worms, compost and soil microbes and why they're so important for healthy food and farming. Decomposers like worms and microbes break down organic matter, improving soil structure through aeration, which in turn allows water to penetrate the ground when it rains. Healthy soil microbes reduce the need for chemical fertilisers by breaking down mulch and manure into bioavailable nutrients for plant roots. Mulch feeds and protects microbes while also releasing carbon, nitrogen and minerals as it decomposes. Manure adds essential nutrients, further fostering microbe growth, which enhances nutrient availability for plants. Encouraging worms is an effective way to build healthy soil. We can make worm wee tea and worm castings for our gardens and veggie patches at home. It's a great way to recycle food and garden waste. Some regenerative agriculture farmers are also using this technique on a large scale. Worms love fruit and veggie scraps, non-plastic tea bags, paper, coffee grounds and filters, eggshells, and garden or grass clippings. Worms can be kept in a little farm, and these have 3 main layers. The top layer is where fresh food scraps are added. The middle layer contains bedding like shredded paper or coconut fibre where worms live and feed. The bottom layer collects the worm castings and worm wee tea. You'll know it's time to harvest the castings when the food and bedding are mostly broken down and the material looks dark and crumbly. The worm wee should always be diluted with water before using it in your garden. Despite their small size, microbes are mighty and make a mighty big difference to healthy produce.
We're dealing with some major challenges: climate change, a growing population, and dwindling resources like land and water for food production. To keep up, we've turned to intensive farming methods, but these practices come with serious downsides. We use a ton of fertilisers to boost crop yields. When plants can't absorb it all, the excess washes into our waterways, causing pollution. Researchers at Griffith University started developing biochar-based fertilisers. Biochar is known to improve soil, organic carbon, soil carbon sequestration and soil moisture and nutrient retention.
You can think about biochar as a sponge. The biochar can draw down moisture from the air, hold it into its structure and release it when drought strikes. Biochar usually is applied as a solid form, and farmers usually incorporate biochar into the soil when they're planting their crops.
When the nutrients are retained in the soil for longer, plants have more time to assimilate those available nutrients. And also, there won't be excess nutrients to be leached away or run off to our waterways. So, we can use biochar, nutrient and water retention characteristics in the soil to decrease fertiliser application.
If soil is managed holistically, it is capable of retaining microbes, storing carbon and improving the overall health of the environment. Healthy soil also means better crops and pastures. In our next episode, we'll be entering the growth zone as we dive into diversity.